What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, we're coming back to Metallica. Yes, indeed, Metallica fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to do all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Schmick, and Schmick wanted to see me react to this. It is Metallica. Oh man, I just realized what it is. Okay, it's Metallica. Well, it's sort of, I mean, it is Metallica, I suppose. It's the infamous solo, made famous by Cliff Burton, his signature piece, in my opinion. We're talking about Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. Now, have I heard the song before? Yeah, full disclosure, yes, I have. I know I've heard this song. Let me tell you something, folks. When I was in high school, and I started playing the bass in high school, and my freshman year, and I was having some doubts. I was having some doubts about playing bass. I was like, because, I mean, I was in the jazz band, and that was cool and all, but in the world of rock and metal, I always kind of looked at bass as kind of being the joke of the band. It was like, I don't know if I want to stick with playing bass. And then I had a guitar player friend of mine put the album Kill 'Em All in my hands, and he said to me, check out track 5. So I looked at what track 5 was, and all it said was Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. And I was like, okay, well, when I get to it, I get to it. First I went through Hit the Lights, then the Four Horsemen. I went through the whole album. I kept rewinding. That was the bad thing. I kept rewinding. I wanted to hear, I think I listened to Hit the Lights like 3 times before I moved on to the Four Horsemen. And then the Four Horsemen I listened to like 5 times. So it took me a while to get to Anesthesia. But when I heard that voice say bass solo take 1, I was like, what? Bass solo? What? And then I heard, to me, even today, to this very day, to me, one of the greatest bass solos I have ever heard. And I was in shock. I remember taking the album back to my guitar player and saying, was that really a bass? And he said, yes, it was. That was that. If you don't believe me, check this out. And then he proceeds to put a video cassette in my hand called Cliff 'Em All. And I went and I watched that entire video. I actually ended up giving him like $10 because I just said, I want to keep the video. So here's $10, go get a new copy. I'm keeping this one. And I saw some amazing things by Cliff Burton. Oh man, Cliff Burton became one of my idols for bass playing. And he single-handedly convinced me to continue to play bass. Funny story with this song. I actually learned how to play this song by doing something I swore I would never do. I went to Guitar Center and I purchased a book, a bass book, and I was looking for the album Kill 'Em All. And I was like, okay, great. I opened the book and it's tablature. And I take it back to Guitar Center. I'm like, do you have any sheet music? And they're like, no, we don't have sheet music from Metallica. All we have is tablature. So I took it home and I taught myself tablature. Oh, God, I hate tablature. But I learned how to do it, and I learned the song note for note exactly like it is. And I love playing this song. This is a fun tune to play. So full disclosure, yes, I have heard it. Now, I was told by Schmick this version of Anesthesia Pulling Teeth is not on the Cliff 'Em All video. So I don't think I've ever seen this. I've heard it. I've definitely heard it. I've heard the song, but I don't think I've ever seen or heard this version. So I just want to be honest with you, full disclosure, full transparency. I will not be reacting to the original bass solo itself in any way, shape, or form. Okay, I am very, very familiar with it. I will only be reacting to and evaluating this live performance of Anesthesia Pulling Teeth. I mean, every time Cliff when I was watching that video, he was always a little different. There was always some differences. So there's never two performances of this song that are the same. So I'm actually kind of excited to see this because from what I understand, I've never seen it. So I'm excited. I'm really excited about that. This was posted by Andre Luce, okay? And the video has 2.6 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Metallica, Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, live, Chicago, 1983. I really hope I haven't seen this. I don't believe I have, so I guess we'll find out. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Are you ready to get your teeth pulled? Are you ready to do it, Cliff? Mr. Cliff Burton, all right.
Oh God, the video quality is so bad. Like a combination of hammer-on and pull-offs with fingering. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I mean, I've seen him do that before when we were doing For Whom the Bell Tolls, or For Whom the Bells Toll. I saw him doing the hammer-on and pull-off, so I know he's very capable of doing that. But it's like he's doing a combination of hammer-on and pull-offs while fingering. Let's see that again. Oh, little flub there. That's different. Okay, a little difference there. My favorite part. Yes. That was different. Yeah, that was right. That was where it was. Oh, that's different. Okay. Okay, listen. He's staying pretty true to what he did on the album. I'd say about 90% of what he's played was what he played on the album. He has had some variances, though. He has taken some liberties with his own solo, which is great. I love it. I'm hearing things that I haven't heard him do before. I'm seeing him do things that I haven't seen him do before. So that's great. I love that. It's helping to keep this being actual reaction as opposed to, oh, I've seen this before, I've heard this before. You know what I mean? So I love the variances. The more variances, the better in my book. At least in this case. Bringing that in a little early. That's cool. Oh, some harmonics. Can't even see Laura with all the smoke. Tap harmonic, nice. And that is why he is one of my absolute heroes. Wait, there's more. Oh, are they going to do the intro into Whiplash that they do with... Oh, God. Okay. Where Dave and Jane... Okay, the video I saw from the Cliff Burton video is back when Dave Mustaine was still in the band. So it was Dave and James coming out and just riffing on E the whole time. Just E chord, E chord, E chord the whole time. To set up Whiplash. I wonder if that's what they're going to do here. I wonder... Now, this is 83. Is this when Dave was still in the band? We might see Dave Mustaine. Okay, great. Okay, we have another minute. Let's go. No, it's Kurt. It's Kurt Hammond. That's fine. Woo, Cliff. Get the camera on Cliff! Put the camera on Cliff! James is not soloing! Put it over on Cliff! And then they probably go into Whiplash right there. Why were they filming James? Cliff was the one soloing. Dear Lord. Anyway, I would have loved to see what Cliff was actually doing. That's a bummer. Anyway, oh man, how am I going to score this? I mean, I got to score it completely and purely on this particular performance. Okay. Gotta stay objective. That's gonna be the hard part for me, staying objective when it comes to one of my biggest influences, one of my biggest idols of all time. I gotta be objective. Okay, I'll be objective. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Metallica with Anesthesia Pulling Teeth. This was a request from Schmick. Just Schmick. Okay, before I give my score, I just need to reiterate a couple of points. Number one, I am very familiar with this song. Very familiar. This is the song that kept me on bass. I was having a little bit of a beginner's crisis with bass in rock music. I felt like bass players weren't really respected, and I felt like we were kind of looked at as a joke. And it wasn't until I heard this song, and more importantly, until I saw the Cliff Burton video, that I was like, oh, okay. this guy ain't no joke. This guy is like the highlight reel. So, and I was like, okay, so I could be that. I could do that. And so I decided to say, you know what? I'm going to stick with the bass because Cliff Burton is freaking amazing. And he became one of my biggest influences. So much so that I even went and learned and taught myself. I taught myself how to read tablature. I've never read tablature up to that point. I was always reading sheet music. You know, I can read sheet music all day long. Tablature is just a bunch of numbers on lines, and I'm like, I don't know what this means. So I had to learn how to do that, and it was interesting. It was a process, but after a couple months, I did have this song down, and well, at least the studio version. The thing is, whenever Cliff Burton plays a bass solo live, there's never two bass solos that are the same. Never. They're always different. There's always a couple of changes that he makes, and luckily that is the case because as a result, I can do an actual reaction to this performance. Because I am extremely familiar with the studio recording and all the performances I saw on the Cliff Home video. So, but just to be clear, I'm very familiar with this song. Very familiar. I know this song inside and out. So I'm not reacting to the original song in any way, shape, or form. I am basing my score completely on this live performance. That's it. So please keep that in mind. Having said that, oh man, I have to stay objective. I can't be geeking out here, and just because he's one of my heroes and one of my idols, I'm not going to sit here and give him a 10 because no, that wouldn't be fair. That would definitely not be objective. So staying as objective as I possibly can on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.8. Yep, 8.8. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
It's a good thing that every time Cliff Burton did a bass solo, which was every show. I mean, he did one solo every single show. There were never two solos that were the exact same. Never. There were always little differences, little variances. Right at the beginning of the song with the opening riff, the do 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 do, the minor triad that he plays, down to the major triad. All of a sudden, he did these hammer-ons and pull-offs. So I'm sitting there going, that wasn't in the original recording, and I've never seen him do that in any of the performance of the song on the Cliff Hall video. So right there was some differences. It was really interesting to watch how he did it too. The hammer-on and pull-off from so he hammered on for the first. Actually, no, he didn't have to hammer on for the first. It was already there. So he played the first, pulled off, hammered on the pull-off, he hit another. He pulled on that string before hammering on the next, and it was interesting because it was almost like he was fingering every third note, which was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it like that before. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna try that technique out, see how it works for me. Because I've always had trouble with that. I've always had trouble with hammer-on pull-offs like rapidly like that. I don't know if my fingers are just not long enough or maybe they're just too slow. I'm not 100% sure, but I need to work on that for sure. Taking some other liberties within the song, going through, moving parts around, completely improvising some parts, adding new things. It was really cool to see all that and hear all that. I like those variances. I really did, and they sounded really good. When it kicked into the fast part was just he and drums. I think that was my favorite part of this performance. Watching him do those harmonics in spots where they aren't on the recording, in the middle of it, that I mean, we all know those are harmonics. That's something new. But prior to that, he was doing some tap harmonics that he didn't do on the recording, and that was nice to hear. That was really cool to hear. At the end, I wasn't sure if it was going to be Dave or Kirk. Kirk. It looks like we got Kirk. That was just fine. Got no problem with that. But seeing James and Kirk come out, riffing on the E, and Lars just going straight ahead drumming with it. It would have been nice if the camera had been on Cliff, since Cliff was the one, soloing. That makes sense, right? I don't know why the camera wasn't on Cliff, but whatever. I can still hear him. It sounded really good, everything he was doing. So I thought this was a great performance of it. Would I ever give this a 9? No, because here's the thing. As much as I would love to give this a 9, I can't because I'm familiar with the song. I can't sit here and say that this is impressive because I'm familiar with the song. I can't sit here and say that I have my mind blown because I'm familiar with the song. You see what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but I was really glad that I did get to see this particular performance that I didn't even know existed. I've never seen this before, so that was cool. I'm glad I got the chance to see a different performance than what I've seen on the Cliff and Maul video. So yeah, I thought this was a great performance. I loved some of the variances that were going on. So 8.8, it's a really high grade score, and I feel it's very appropriate for this. So 8.8, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.